Ban on single-use plastic bags and styrofoam containers reaping success.
The support is estimated at over 90% coming from the sector groups, other stakeholders and consumers in general.
And the process continues with further measures which Minister Vaz will share later in the show. There are also positive achievements coming out of the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development. You have to stay with us for all the details. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Welcome.
Catch the JIS's Year in Review supplement in The Gleaner this Sunday, January 26. Also, download our augmented reality mobile app by scanning the QR code shared in our Gleaner supplement to view our Year in Review video features on YouTube or read the articles on our website. Here's how. Install a QR code reader app in the Play Store. Scan the code on the front page of the JIS Year in Review supplement, then click download or follow the link. Open the app, hover over the QR codes on each page to watch the full Year in Review features on the JIS YouTube channel. It's that simple to see the invaluable contribution that our government through the different ministries made for 2019.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, January 23. Government is proposing to spend an additional $7.9 billion for the 2019-2020 fiscal year, increasing the current budget from $851 billion to $859 billion. The increase has been added to the recurrent or housekeeping expenses, moving it from $778.9 billion to $786.9 billion. In terms of capital spending, this remains the same at $72.11 billion. The adjustment to the budget is in the second supplementary estimates, which was tabled in the House on Tuesday by Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clarke. Of the increases, the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation has received an additional $1.5 billion, and the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information is getting $1.6 billion more. Members of the Public Administration and Appropriations Committee are to deliberate on the second supplementary estimates on January 28. It will then be debated in the House later in the afternoon. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has reaffirmed Jamaica's commitment to a unified Caribbean community, CARICOM.
Jamaica does not want to see and does not engage in any policy that would divide CARICOM. CARICOM is an important fraternity of countries. We are a trading bloc. We are a custom union. But more than that, it is the fraternity. And we want to keep it that way.
The Prime Minister was responding to questions at a joint press conference on Wednesday, following bilateral discussions with United States Secretary of State Michael Pompeo. Mr. Holness emphasized that the focus had to be about ensuring greater engagement among CARICOM countries and the region's international partners.
And my interest is to get Jamaica talking with everyone and to strengthening our relationship, particularly with our largest trading partner, particularly with our largest security partner, particularly because we have over 1 million US visitors visiting our shores yearly. We have significant economic, social, and cultural interests, so we should never seek to create an artificial divide.
For his part, Secretary Pompeo concurred that there was no intent from the United States to divide CARICOM. He said the U.S. welcomed a dialogue on important issues with every country in the region.
We want all the countries of this region to prosper and be successful. And we want to work with them closely to develop out a security prosperity dialogue with them so that we can all be successful, not divided, but together.
Meanwhile, the U.S. Secretary of State has listed cybersecurity as one of the areas on which the North American country will be partnering with Jamaica and other Caribbean islands. Mr. Pompeo says this is part of the Caribbean 2020 strategy that was launched in 2017.
Our nations have an obligation, therefore, for our very people to work in the interest of our shared security much more closely. That's what we're already doing in the Caribbean Basin Security Initiative.
The Secretary of State was speaking at yesterday's policy event following a meeting with Caribbean leaders. He said the U.S. was looking to partner with Haiti to help solve critical development challenges through its development finance cooperation.
I believe that the United States and Caribbean nations do much more together, can do much more together, and importantly, should do much more together. As the Prime Minister knows, we're natural allies and natural partners. Now is the time to move forward with even closer ties. There's so much opportunity.
Secretary Pompeo left the island on Wednesday after a 2-day working visit. The Victoria Jubilee Hospital has received a donation of medical equipment and supplies valued at $20,000 to improve its neonatal services. The donation was provided by United States-based charity, the Jamaica United Relief Association, or JURA. Among the items are ventilators, deep vein thrombosis pumps, pneumatic cuffs, eye sheets, stirrups, and laryngoscopes. Chairman of the Kingston Public and Victoria Jubilee Hospital's Management Committee, Dr. Stephanie Reed, welcomed the much-needed supplies.
No amount of money that government provide for our hospital will be sufficient to make our hospital work effectively. We depend heavily on our community, the partners in the community, like yourselves, people who really have an interest to see healthcare as it ought to be in our country, Jamaica.
You have my commitment that as long as I am around, I will continue to make sure the organization provides support to the Victoria Jubilee.
The Victoria Jubilee Hospital provides critical health care to women and babies, and the ventilators will supply additional oxygen support for neonates, especially those born prematurely or underweight. Still on health, the Western Regional Health Authority is imploring citizens in that section of the island to take part in the National Dengue Cleanup Drive scheduled for January 24 to 26. The call comes from Regional Vector Control Officer Ryan Morris.
Want everybody to come on board. It's an opportunity to clean your place up, to get rid of breeding and potential breeding site. It's an opportunity to interact with the team. It's an opportunity to let us know what is happening so we can know how to come in.
The Western Regional Health Authority manages healthcare in St. James, Westmoreland, Hanover, and Trelawney. According to Mr. Morris, under the Enhanced Vector Control Program between July and December last year, this region experienced a steady reduction in the Aedes index. The lowering of the Aedes index means that the number of breeding sites found in relation to the number of premises inspected has declined.
At the end of December, we see a massive gain of 6.5, with almost all the parishes falling below 10. In the indices that they have never seen before.
Local authorities, members of parliament, councillors and volunteers are on board to support this weekend's national cleanup activities in 158 communities across the country. These areas have been identified by the Health Ministry as being in need of urgent action to destroy mosquitoes and their breeding sites. And finally, Prime Minister Andrew Holness says government has reintroduced the Length Man program to maintain and preserve the island's road infrastructure. A colonial initiative, the Length Man program saw locals being given sections of community roads to debush, sanitize, and clear drains. In addition to the road maintenance aspect of their work, Mr. Holness says the Length Men will be given a smart device to collect data, which will be used to preserve the built and natural environment.
That will give us a pool of data from which we can do our data mining and analytics to help us to drive our budget, to direct which roads really need to be repaired, which drains and gullies really need attention. And that is a smarter way of addressing the resilience of your built and natural environment.
Mr. Holness was speaking at the 4th Annual Caribbean Infrastructure Forum. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
Jamaica, This are the national cleanup crew. Come join the fight, stop mosquito from bite you. That mean we are go clean up school, workplace, home and community too.
Let us fight against dengue. Join the National Dengue Cleanup Crew as we search for and destroy mosquito breeding sites from January 24 to January 26, 2020.
Jamaica. This are the national cleanup crew. Come join the fight, stop mosquito from bite you.
Mosquitoes wanted dead, not alive. A message from the Ministries of Health and Wellness, Culture and Local Government.
The Ministry of Local Government and Community Development increased the fleet of garbage trucks and salary for sitemen. Water shops were also opened and housing provided for the indigent. Those are just a few of the major undertakings of the ministry in 2019. We have the recap for you.
Ministry of Local Government have experienced a good year in 2019. All of the 5 entities are up to date with their public body reports to Parliament. They are observing the rules.
The agencies of the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development were of service to the people during the year 2019. The National Solid Waste Management Authority, NSWMA, improved its governance structure and advanced its garbage collection across the country. 11 new garbage trucks were bought to serve the western, eastern, southern, and northern regions. The improvement in the governance structure at the agency also facilitated a 28% salary increase for the collection sidemen employed by the NSWMA. Under the guidance of the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management (OPM), the website for the 7th Regional Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction in the Americas and the Caribbean 2020 was launched.
Today's launch is a significant achievement for the government and people of Jamaica.
OPM also coordinated the country's relief response to the disaster-ravaged islands of the Bahamas. During 2019, the Jamaica Fire Brigade responded to over 1,000 emergency calls. To properly equip the servicemen, government partnered with the U.S. Embassy and provided much-needed fire equipment and gears.
It is of importance that when we ask the men and women of the Jamaica Fire Brigade to put their lives on the line, that we do so by providing the necessary equipment to make them perform their duties.
Ground was also broken for the construction of the $534.9 million fire station in Montego Bay. The residents of Yallison Thomas and environs will also soon have a new fire station, as a $109.49 million contract was signed at Jamaica House late 2019. The homeless were a top priority.
In this financial year alone, this administration have spent over $700 million on infrastructure development and putting in equipment in our infirmaries.
Those living in Hanover were provided with a safe place to receive help, as a multi-million-dollar drop-in center was established in the western end of the country. In addition, the ministry is constructing a state-of-the-art adult transitional facility for the homeless in downtown Kingston, the first of its kind in the region. Ground was broken for the $140 million facility during Local Government and Community Month.
It is not only going to be a facility that will cater for their needs, medically and otherwise, but we will allow the facility to encourage them to come off the cold concrete at night and sleep in this facility.
Under the government's indigent housing program, elderly Jamaicans were also given new homes. Several communities were empowered as the Social Development Commission, SDC, implemented development governance structures.
Creating employment. Over some 2,000 young Jamaicans have benefited from social programs.
Residents of Top Hill and Retirement District in Malvern St. Elizabeth now have access to free potable water following the opening of 2 water shops in the areas. Minister Mackenzie also broke ground for the first of 2 water shops to be established in Portland.
So when we speak about the role of local government, let me again remind those persons who feel that there's no need for local government, that 85% of the country's survival is vested in local government.
Today we begin our 100-day celebration of legacy of Miss Lou. We will convene the Joint Select Committee meetings and move expeditiously to sign off on the bill. Tonight belongs to Jimmy Cliff. Ska and reggae and other genres, a musician of Jamaica, who is the product of the various genres of Jamaican music. Veronica, today you fill our hearts with pride, and we come as a grateful nation to support you.
Look out for the full review of the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport for the year 2019 inside your Jamaica Magazine. You don't want to miss it.
Last year, the government placed a ban on the importation of single-use plastic bags and straws. This year, further measures are being implemented to restrict local manufacturing, distribution, and use of the styrofoam products. Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Daryl Vaz, is updating us on the success of the policy so far.
On September 17, 2018, the government of Jamaica announced a policy to implement a ban on single-use plastic scandal bags, plastic drinking straws, and expanded polystyrene foam products used in the food and beverage industry in 3 phases starting January 1st, 2019. The ban is but one measure to safeguard the nation's natural and built environments. The government is extremely pleased with the overwhelming positive reaction, national reaction, and response to the policy announcement. The support is estimated at over 90% coming from the sector groups, other stakeholders, and consumers in general. Clear evidence of the positive response is a rapid disappearance of single-use plastic bags and plastic straws from the trade and a pronounced behavior change and attitude coming from the Jamaican people. I wish to pause to congratulate all of Jamaica for the support and buy-in to this well-needed environmental policy. We have now moved, as of January 1st, 2020, to phase 2 of the ban, which restricts the manufacture and distribution and use of expanded polystyrene foam, styrofoam products in the food and beverage industry. However, we expect an even smoother transition from the use of these polystyrene products to the alternatives on the market for the single reasons that persons and businesses have had a much longer time to prepare themselves for the ban. I believe that 15 months is more than adequate time for businesses to identify suitable alternative packaging at cost-effective prices. We also expect that the prices for the alternatives will trend downwards in the coming months, based on the fact that businesses would have retooled as well as the competition in the marketplace. Let me reiterate, the government will be taking strong enforcement action against those persons and companies that do not comply with the ban. Jamaica Customs Agency has also held firm at the ports of entry, confiscating banned items, preventing them from entering the trade. To date, 6 businesses have been fined under the NRCA Plastic Packaging Materials Prohibition Order, and another 30 business persons and individuals will also be charged and face the court in the coming weeks. The maximum fine under the Trade Act is $2 million, while under the NRCA Order 2018, the fine is $50,000. Both carry a term of imprisonment of 2 years, respectively. As was the case with the ban on single-use plastics, the Ministry and NEPA are again partnering on an extensive public awareness program regarding the styrofoam ban. So we have visited the parishes of Manchester and St. Catherine, and it is still early days regarding feedback, but it is noted that a number of establishments in these parishes are compliant. Since the ban, the country has witnessed a pronounced reduction of plastics in terrestrial and marine environment. We have observed significant behavior and attitude change with regard to the banned items, and Jamaican calling for the banning of more items such as plastic utensils, Pampers, and other plastic food containers. There are several business opportunities for large corporations, and MSMEs have also blossomed from this initiative, with business being developed to specialize in the alternatives. At the core of the policy's implementation is a greater focus on pollution control with the aim of improving the lives of all Jamaicans, as well as safeguarding public health and the environment. The measures we are adopting has Jamaica at heart, and it is Jamaica that will ultimately be the winner.
Up next, government's partnership to improve access to financing for micro, small and medium-sized enterprises through its financial inclusion program. Program coordinator Melanie Williams has the details.
Hello and welcome to Finance Matters, a production of the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service. I'm your host, Daniel Pasley, and today on our program, we will be focusing on financial inclusion. And with me is a very special guest. She is a National Financial Inclusion Coordinator, Ms. Melanie Williams. Thank you so much, Melanie, for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me, Daniel. It is my pleasure to be here.
Great. Now, we're going to be focusing on financial inclusion. And for some viewers, they may see it as something that's very complex. So break it down for us. What is financial inclusion?
Thank you for that question. So financial inclusion essentially is a suite of policies which are being implemented by government actors, government entities, in partnership with the private sector and with non-governmental organizations to improve access to credit, access to information, greater consumer protection mechanisms for ordinary Jamaican citizens and businesses, particularly our micro and small enterprises.
And why is it so important for the micro and small enterprises?
Well, if you examine the nature of what we call MSMEs, micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, their business needs are very different from some of the larger enterprises that exist in the marketplace. They have greater need of what you would call support in terms of capacity building, the need for help with developing business plans, for understanding how to use technology to facilitate the prompt and safe payment of any bills that they may have, or if they're making orders online, for example. They also need to be empowered in terms of how to actually put their products out there in the marketplace, how to form networks and partnerships. And that's where the role of the Financial Inclusion Steering Committee members becomes so relevant. For example, to highlight the work being done by the Development Bank of Jamaica through their programs, Ignite, their voucher program, their assistance, we expect to see an increase in terms of the credit flows to micro entrepreneurs as well as to small-sized enterprises.
So how can they access those services?
Excellent question. And I think your question points to the shift in thinking that we hope to achieve through this program for financial inclusion. First and foremost, it is important for every Jamaican to feel the essence of their own empowerment. And that's what financial inclusion is about. If one sees the Secretariat as being at the center of a network of partners, call the Secretariat, the Financial Inclusion Technical Secretariat.
What are those numbers?
Our number is 876-932-4145. And of course, we also have an email address, and that can be shared with you after. What you would do is then call us, contact us, and we will put you in contact with our colleagues or key stakeholders, if you will, along the network chain, so that you can then have a discussion with them, go directly to them, and have a consultation, if you will. Sit down, explain your business idea, your value proposition. What do you intend to bring to the consumer, your intended customer, and then develop your own strategy for having your business expand, so to speak.
I love that. So if they want to go to the Secretariat, where exactly is it?
The Financial Inclusion Technical Secretariat is located in Bank of Jamaica, and that is...
And for those who don't know, that is in central Kingston, downtown?
Right.
At the waterfront, all right?
Yes, never so place, exactly. Right, so come on in, and you would merely indicate at our protection desk right there that you wish to speak to members of the Technical Secretariat. They'll contact us, and we'll come down and meet you, and we'll have that discussion about how we can assist in terms of putting you in contact with our other partners along the network for financial inclusion.
Melanie, I love the idea of financial inclusion being an avenue for empowerment for all small and medium-sized entrepreneurs. And it is a testament of what financial inclusion will do to propel economic growth.
Indeed, indeed. And we would not have achieved what we have achieved had it not been for our partners. So both our partners in the ministries, such as the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service, the Ministry of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries, as well as the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, those three ministries have been instrumental in terms of formulating the policy positions as well as consulting with the public about their needs.
Thank you, Melanie, for coming on the program and sharing about financial inclusion. I really learned a lot, and I'm sure that you did also. So until next time, I'm Daniel Pasley, and we will be focusing on another side of financial inclusion, and that will include the pillars. So you want to stay tuned for our next episode. Have a great day.
More life.
More memories.
More moments.
Jamaica Moves is a call to action to prevent non-communicable diseases. Get active, eat healthy. You can protect yourself from high blood pressure, obesity, asthma, certain cancer diseases, and more.
Join us again tomorrow for another exciting program. In the meantime, stay connected via our website, jis.gov.jm. And while you're online, send your feedback to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm or via tweet at JIS News. On behalf of the entire production crew, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.